What's up, traders? Very unfortunate Friday morning. Let's cover the trade that we took this morning. First, I'm going to start with the bias, right? I told you guys that the market was definitely going to make all-time highs this week just with how heavy the momentum was. Very, 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 very bullish momentum. Here's my bias, right? So really, I had a really basic bias this morning, guys. I didn't have any particular direction except for up, of course. So you guys can see here, I marked out all these liquidity points, but I also, made a note saying majority of the liquidity is sitting underneath us, but doesn't mean it will come here. Momentum is very bullish right now. So I wasn't expecting the market to even retrace down here, but we were still able to get an opportunity somewhere inside of here. It was an intermediate low that was formed right before the market opened. So that's what we ended up executing off of. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys that actual trade and you guys can see how that played out because it was a really painful trade. Here's my execution on this trade right here. And we end up getting break even right here. It was supposed to be a partial trade, but I am holding this for a 1 to 2 because of how bullish we were. And I already accepted that. Honestly, this only happened on MNQ, which makes it even more unfortunate because this wick right here that we see isn't even the same wick on MNQ. I mean on NQ on the regular Nasdaq, but we execute on MNQ so we can have more flexibility with our positions and we're able to calculate our positions a lot better when it comes to the contracts, right? Because if you're executing on NQ, most likely I would only execute like one contract on NQ to risk as much as I want. So you don't have that much flexibility to have that consistent risk, which I need. All right, but essentially the setup came from this 15-minute right here. You guys can see we have this large 15-minute gap. Large 15-minute gap. And then also we have right here, this low that closed inside of this 15 minutes. So right here on the open is exactly where I was looking for that entry. So this is an intermediate 15-minute intermediate low. Right at the open, we open up and we go into that low and we're still trading inside of that 15-minute bullish gap. So we are sweeping liquidity and we're trading inside of a gap that is currently being respected. And on the lower time frames here, here's that price action. And this is what confirmed this trade for me because we did have this liquidity point that I was looking for underneath us that we could have expanded to. And that's what I was expecting at first, honestly, because I wasn't taking anything off of this first little V shape that you guys see here. But when we did this second move right here and we go on the S&P 500, we have an SMT, right? You can see we clearly sweep this market open low on the ES, and on NQ, we failed to sweep that. That is a bullish divergence. That means that we have a lot more buying interest on NQ than we do on ES, and that the market does not need to go underneath this low because we're already manipulating that low on the correlating asset, okay? So once we seen that, all I needed was my simple inversion entry with the V-shaped recovery. As you guys can see here, here's our V-shaped recovery. We have our inversion right there, and we executed the trade on up here on these candles. Now, the market ended up flying towards the upside, and now we are in price discovery. So, yeah. Now we're going in price discovery. This is on MNQ. Don't worry about MNQ. On NQ, we are in price discovery, okay? So the market is just going to keep going. And now we have to build new structure. So I'm not looking for anything particular. I don't have anything up here to really give you guys a bias right now. All of our liquidity is sitting underneath us. So what I am going to be expecting here in the next coming weeks is for us to start building some structure. So maybe we start distributing, maybe we start seeing a distribution, start forming some type of selling orders for the majority of these buyers that's been taking this market to all-time highs. Right? At some point, we're going to start distributing orders, okay? Whether that's right here or whether that's all the way up here, it doesn't matter. But at some point, we're going to start distributing orders and we're going to start seeing the market accumulate, all right? Now, this is exactly what we need to see so we can start getting some pullbacks and we can start building some actual structure. I don't really need the market to come here and take these lows, honestly, but I want some structure to be formed as we are going higher. And that's the same problem that I had with this bullish trend. It's not that the fact that the market is bullish, I just don't like how we're bullish. All right. If we were just actually just building structure like this, then that would have been more stable. That would have been something we could execute on. It would have been a lot better, and the price action would have been, I would say, a lot more tradable. But here you guys can see we're just going up, settle up, settle up. It's not really much you can do there unless you're just buying the market if you are like long-term investing or whatever you're doing, but it's not really much you can do there. All right. So that's essentially what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be looking for the market to start distributing and build some actual structure that we can trade from as we go into all-time highs territory, because I trade liquidity a lot and all of our liquidities are underneath here. So unless we come down here, the market, you know, makes its way down here to actually come into liquidity, and we can see some inducements, we can see some manipulations that we could take entries from, or we build new liquidity for us to do that up here. It's one of the others. Until then, we're just going to be waiting. Be careful in all-time highs conditions. I know a lot of people say don't short, just buy, or whatever the case may be. Just be careful. Don't lean into one direction, because the market could just fall off from here easily towards the downside, and we could just keep skyrocketing towards the upside. Either way, you just don't know. It's very, very uncertain because we don't have any clear draws of liquidity that's pushing the market, right? So just be careful in all-time highs conditions. Next week is going to be really, really interesting to see how this market plays around making these new highs. Okay, so let me know if you guys were able to actually catch this long, or did you guys get stopped out unfortunately, just like I did. Okay, let's go back to MNQ. But yeah, yep, so that was my trading day. You guys let me know if you're able to execute these longs. Unfortunate wick right here that just kind of stopped us out. So GG's, guys. Let me know if you have any suggestions, any comments, any videos that you would like to see in particular. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.